Hey, good morning. What is going on? Welcome in. My name is Deborah. This is Purusha Intuitive, and we're going to look at the weekly energy for July 1st through the 5th. Happy July. Whoop, whoop. We are halfway through the year of a lot of shifting, a lot of change. The energy is starting to lessen this week, which I really like. I don't know why I'm shuffling. We start with an energy cleansing. All right, so let's back this up a few minutes. But yeah, there's been a lot of shift. There's been a lot of change, and we're all working to figure out how to navigate everything. This week, the past couple weeks, there's been a lot of tension in the astrology. We can see it playing out. We move through a full moon in Capricorn, and this week we're going to be having a new moon in Cancer, which is really nice because Cancer connects us with our home, our sense of stability, love, nourishment, support. Regardless of what's going on in your physical home or family, it's that value of what the ideal would be for you, and finding ways to enliven that more into your daily life. Easier said than done, especially right now, because a lot of things are coming up around people, situations that we didn't necessarily anticipate or expect, right? We're seeing different sides of them, which is okay. Everyone has their duality. But we got to figure out, we got to bring those messages back in and really figure out, try to understand what we want moving forward. And is it highest and best to bring that person or situation with us? The more aware, the more tuned in we can be, the easier that process becomes. That's why I like to start off with these energy cleansings, because they really just set the intention, set the tone. Sage amplifies mental clarity, purification, protection from negativity, especially around the things that we're trying to birth or bring into this world. This is also a really good time to set your own intention. If you have specific messages or questions you would like Spirit to answer, now is the time to do it. All right, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release the things that are not for our highest and best. Fear, doubt, insecurity, lack of worth, lack of value. Cleanse it from our being, any blocks, any obstacles that we need to pay attention to. Bring us the awareness, bring us the peace, the grounding in our heart, our mind, our soul. Help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, guardian angels, Mama Love. Let's put it like this. Amen. I don't want to burn anything today. Not on the agenda. Actually, I'll keep that right there. It's nice. Okay. So, like I was saying, the beauty of the astrology this week is we're starting to see some of that tension lessen. We're not feeling so about everything, so wound up, so tight inside in our internal being, especially if we have taken the time to support and love ourselves, give ourselves love and care and understanding, space to move through some of the more difficult things. Black Moon Lilith is in opposition to the vertex point at the beginning of the week, and this really talks about how we still need to remain vigilant around the people that or situations that we're not quite sure about. We're getting these intuitive hints, seeing some red flags, situations, getting insight, right? But we might still be on the fence. We might, you know, not trust ourselves, not trust our gut instincts. And that's where Black Moon Lilith is going to try to, quote unquote, pull the wool over our eyes. And so we really need to empower ourselves in the beginning of this week, standing in this Mars energy that is really strong, very vigilant. Mars is that energy of knowing what you want and not being afraid to go after it. It can be a little bit like of a bulldozer, right? Like bulldozing anyone, anything in its path. I'm not encouraging that per se. That's not my MO. But I think there's a way to stay strong and vigilant in who you are and what you want, and not necessarily disempower yourself in that process. Taking action steps. Action steps are really important right now because we're setting the tone, we're setting the groundwork for what is coming in. That proverbial planting of the seeds. And Black Moon Lilith is definitely going to tempt us into resorting to past behavior or getting into situations that distract us from setting or laying that foundation. And with Neptune in opposition, so a tense aspect to Black Moon Lilith, it also makes it hard to really hear our intuition clearly. Like, we hear it. We hear it. Like, it's actually very loud. But like I said, that belief, depending on how much we trust our instincts, how much we trust our guidance, our insight, will really dictate whether we, you know, are able to see what's going on in front of us or not. And so Mars is that energy of remaining vigilant in the process. So powerful. The Magician pops out for us front and center. This is all about tapping into that manifestation potential. And, you know, manifestation, yes, is about action, for sure. And we can't eliminate, it's not necessarily about weeding out all the bad things. Yes, we want to be sure that we're grounded enough to make the right decisions at the right time. In the same breath, it's about using that dynamism, using that diversity, that tension to kind of fuel us forward, not letting it put us down, because it still is affecting our emotional world. Honestly, when I look at the astrology, the last few weeks, it's been a lot about our ego and hurt feelings. And now it's just more about our emotions. And I really feel like this is a deeper level, how we feel about ourselves, our worth, our value, what we believe we deserve, what we believe we can have. And being able to push through, rise above, overcome the more difficult things is actually what empowers us, right? It's actually what brings us closer to our manifestations. So powerful, the Empress. It brings us to our manifestations. So, you know, that we are essentially reaching our goals. We're finding that happiness and fulfillment. We're leveling up. And Spirit really wants you to, yes, have trust and faith, but continue to practice what you've learned. It's not going to feel great, unfortunately, because we still are in this testing time with the moon square to the fortune point. Again, change isn't easy. We know places that we have to make change. We're getting those intuitive hints, those intuitive guidances. And we have to remember what it is bringing for us is abundance through the Emperor. Stepping into your power in this very beautiful way where there is a balance of action and surrender. The Empress knows where to put her time and energy and when to cultivate that abundance, just like the Magician. The Magician uses all the elements. So it's kind of like, you know, what do you have to work with? What are you working with? What have you learned? How can you implement that wisdom, those learning lessons when situations arise? When people are trying to disempower you, right? People get threatened. People get threatened by confidence. There still is more unfolding. Be patient with yourself. It's not going to look perfect. You're still in the process of refining. It's better to move a little bit slower. The Knight of Pentacles always reaches his destination. The wheel is turning. I love this. I actually was seeing this card as I was preparing for the reading, and we definitely are seeing that in the astrology this week, where there has been a lot of tension, a lot of frustration. Now we're seeing more support, and it's really giving us you know, it's giving us the courage to move forward. It's giving us the inspiration to keep pushing forward. Yes, there are still some things that we need to weed out. There's still some past patterns, behavior, people that we invite in, whether they are old or new, like from our past, or new people, making sure that we're not repeating those patterns, those mistakes, because Spirit wants you to stay very grounded and balanced, especially, you know, when we see the energy, the astrology, when we see it kind of lessen in terms of tension, resistance, when we have more support, that is the time to really focus on building, because it helps us feel more stable when something comes in to throw us off course. Yeah, okay, so I really love this energy. We got the Wheel of Fortune, then the second house, which is wealth, abundance. So as we step into this empowerment through that value of being intentional about who, what we let in, how we're implementing our learning lessons, trust, faith in the process, knowing who we are, what we bring to this world, what we're trying to birth, and the value that's there, the more this abundance starts flowing. And we have a new moon in Cancer on Friday, I believe. Friday, I think that's the 5th. So basically, which I really love. Cancer, again, it's that energy of feeling love, support, nurture. And Venus actually moves into Cancer as well as the week progresses. It really helps us, like I said, just put time towards loving ourselves, put time towards believing in who we are and in what we want. And then things start to pay off. And even though, like I said, midweek, there still is some resistance on our emotional world, we have to assess the options, what fits us and what does not, what feels like it is in alignment with us, because again, we're still learning the lessons. With this second house resources 4 in numerology, it's really talking about like building that foundation for ourselves. I'm seeing a lot of options in front of you, and some are good, some make sense, some are a good fit for you and have the ability to grow and evolve, and other things are a waste of your time. And so again, you're kind of taking this knowledge, this wisdom that you've learned, and you're like starting to integrate it in a deeper way. Okay, this kind of reminds me of this, or looks like this, or it has the same patterning for something that I've been through before that didn't work out, or this feels really good. This feels really empowering to me. I feel like a lot of synergy between me and this individual or this situation, and I know it's going to get me to that next level. I know it's going to bring in what I want. You are having a lot of attention on you this week. Queen of Wands energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Fire signs love to be front and center. It is a double confirmation on this Mars energy, right? So really playing into those parts of ourselves that are not afraid to bring the best version of us forward. And I'm meaning this more in the way of letting people know who you are, what your gifts are, what you have to offer and bring to the table. And as you put yourself out there more this week, it's going to bring in more options for you. And I like this because it feels like you're thinking things through. You're not making any quick decisions. If anything, it's like, I love this card because she's like, yeah, you know, if anything, she feels really empowered, really enlivened, because we're starting to see some of that hard work pay off. So it is going to be time to make some decisions. You might not be making them all this week, because I do see you in more of a meditative space. Some answers you might need to give sooner than later, but still take your time. Immediacy is not the ideal right now. Yes, I always encourage trust your gut instincts, trust where you're being led. Yeah, I love this. How beautiful. It's really opening the door for new beginning. but never put yourself in a position where it doesn't feel right. Especially when you're getting those like intuitive hints, well, I don't really know about this, or it just doesn't fit, right? We want to give ourselves enough time and space to process through something. It doesn't have to be forever, you know, but I'm just hearing there is this need to temper the fire energy. So the other side of fire is it is very hasty. It's all consuming. It's incredibly quick. And so we want to make sure that we're not making decisions from that space of immediacy, because we might be misreading something. Remember, with that Neptune in opposition to Black Moon Lilith in opposition to the vertex point, that's going to bring in some of that fogginess. And again, I'm seeing that you have a lot of options to sift through. They're leading to new beginnings, period. You know, and I really love this because it is kind of talking about how that Pluto energy is coming full circle. And the time, the effort, the diligence that you have put in to date is starting to be honored. I feel like we've been seeing confirmation of this moving up until this point, I would say. But astrologically, the energy is starting to balance out a little bit more. Again, the more we're trusting ourselves, trusting our guidance, of course, the moon pops up. That's that emotional energy that I was talking about, right? So those, we got to be really careful. And this makes a lot of sense with how the astrology is playing out at the end of the week, because I feel like we start getting some momentum. We're feeling good. We're feeling empowered. And there's just still some people, energy, situations that are lingering that don't like it, that want to bring us down. And it's going to affect the way that we feel about ourselves. It's going to challenge us. It's going to challenge you on how strong and confident you are, how much you want this thing, and not being offended by people's ego. Mercury is in Leo at the end of the week, so we're seeing, you know, just a lot of ego, a lot of pride, a little bit of arrogance. People who just need to be validated by the outside, but you are approaching it from having that internal validation. And the moon is all about, or associated with, our internal world. It's how we see ourselves. It's how we see the world around us. And depending upon its strength, depending upon its stability, will really designate like how easily we can handle the naysayers, all the BS. And we're feeling a lot of tension. Sun square to the North Node is like making the changes to be a better version of ourselves, to you know, to heal, to grow, to evolve. Well, our ego doesn't quite like it, right? Our ego doesn't like it because we want it to be easy. We want it to be effortless and natural. And to some capacity it is. And I feel like we're getting affirmation, confirmation of that throughout the week. But then there's upheaval, right? Especially with this Tower energy. Then we see someone who's going to start challenging us, right? Who's going to start poking the bear. There's a lot of defensive energy. There's a lot of selfish energy. Thank God this is at the end of the week. It is after the new moon. We'll still be feeling the new moon at this point. So new moon is all about setting new intentions or refining things that haven't quite manifested yet. So I do feel like this is directly aligned with the testing process. That part of us that just has to continue to apply the wisdom, apply the knowledge, and not let these Tower moments, okay, King of Pentacles, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, someone who feels like I feel like this is either someone who feels like they have some level of control over you, or it's like ownership. That's what I keep hearing, like you are theirs, or they are very intent on keeping you in their grips is what I'm hearing. There might be a conversation, a really emotional conversation that you have to participate in this week. I feel like someone is trying to stir the pot with this Four of Cups. You might not see it. You might not, I feel for some of you, it will be direct interaction with this person or situation. But some of it will be someone who's like meddling behind the scenes. Someone who's intentionally trying to cause chaos and drama. I'm feeling like a lot of pain. I'm feeling someone who isn't able to communicate what they want, how they feel, and so they just create a lot of drama. Let's see what this drama is. Okay, yeah. Communication, through conversation, speak. Eight of Wands is fire energy, so fast, it's kind of amplifying. Someone's challenging you. Someone's challenging you on... They're challenging you. They're I feel like they are trying to call you out on something. I feel like they are intentionally pushing buttons, right? Kind of, whether it's rubbing salt in the wound or, like I said, poking the bear. And they're skilled at it. So I feel like this is someone you've known for a while, or they're just very good at picking up what makes you tick. They claim to want more balance, but at the same time, like, the way they go about creating balance is through destruction. Instead of finding harmony and equilibrium, it's chaos and destruction to get to the peace. And I feel like you guys operate in very different ways. This person or situation has a tendency to do this, a tendency to implode. And again, this is why it's so important that you remain grounded and stable, especially towards the end of the week. Pluto is in opposition to Mercury, so people are just going to feel a lot of feels around what is changing, things they don't like. They're going to be on the defensive. They don't want to be honest and authentic, especially people who aren't really aware or who want to just keep in the same karma, right? They want to keep doing the same thing over and over again, and that's cool. Everybody can choose what they want. But you're in a place that I feel like this is something you've been trying to move away from for quite some time. And like I said, this King of Pentacles is someone or something who's trying to either pull you back in or keep the control over you. And they really know how to use your morals, your values against you. That's their weapon. It's emotional manipulation. It's causing drama and chaos in the environment, right? It's not physical. It feels very much like gossiping, slander, picking at you, criticizing you, not really giving you an out, not giving you... Yeah, I feel like they're just being really, really hard on you. That's what keeps coming through. And in this way that they're not able to take responsibility for themselves. So be really conscious and mindful about how much you want to, how much you want to interact, engage with this person, explore options, different ways of working through it. Yeah. Silence. Yeah, so sometimes it's just better not to engage, right? Sometimes it's better to listen to what someone has to say if you need to say a few things back, for sure. But then other times it's just better to leave it be. You know, sometimes people are not ready, open, willing, available to hear what you have to say. This is where we need to connect to that feminine energy of the flow, right? Not blocking the flow, not being so rigid. You know, sometimes we want to be heard. Our points, our perspective, we want it to be heard. Sometimes people just don't want to hear it, right? And so we have to have that sense of like when to be quiet, when to listen, what is really worth saying, what is really worth our time and our energy. again, coming from that place of like, is it going to matter in a week, in 6 months, in a year? Does it even align with your vision and what you're trying to bring in? And if it doesn't, is it really worth saying it? Not like I'm saying to not speak your truth. I think that's important, but I think there's a lot of wisdom in knowing how much to say. You know, because sometimes speaking your truth just causes way more drama than is necessary. All right, let's close this out. Okay, yeah, blockage. So we really want to pay attention to where those blockages are popping up, engaging in those practices that really help us open to the flow, whether it is breathing techniques, but it can just be as simple as taking some deep breaths or meditating, doing acupuncture, marmotherapy, you know, massage, anything that kind of helps open up. You can even do your own self-massage, do a bath, an herbal bath, etc. There's a lot of different ways to open up those channels. Ayurveda looks at that as the prana that we take in, the life force, and that is through our breath. And so how can we find a way to allow more of that life force in so we can really push through and overcome some of these blockages? It is going to take a lot of courage. It is taking a lot of strength. Maybe you don't want to hurt someone. Maybe leaving a situation, a person, a thing is difficult. It's you know, there's a lot of fear around it. What is this going to look like after? But Spirit is speaking to you on a very deep level, encouraging you to trust yourself, trust your wisdom, know when something is right for you and when it's depleting and sucking your energy dry, right? If someone has to cause a lot of drama and chaos, resort to bad behavior to get your attention or to keep you around, well, it's kind of like a red flag, right? And yeah, I mean, human dynamics, we don't always recognize it, but that's why awareness is so important. That's why it's so important to pay attention. We don't want to sweep things under the rug, turn a blind eye, or pretend it's not there. Yeah, really kind of break through that disillusionment, the constructs that you have created, the way that you understand and interpret. And I feel like you've been shown a completely different perspective, especially if you have been moving through some more challenging situations. And Spirit's saying, okay, trust that. Don't go back to the old way of believing. Don't go back to this facade, right? Like, oh, everything's fine, or like we don't want to deal with it, or that person is on our side when they're not, when they're gossiping, when they're being shitty. You know, we know what a true friend is, or a true partner, a true business partner, etc. However that fares for you. And we really want to make sure that we're investing into those people, those energies right now, because it is setting that foundation for Pluto in Aquarius. All right. So thank you so much for your time and energy always. I super appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. Good luck this week. Set some great intention for the new moon. Really set those intentions around things that honor your heart, your mind, your soul. Give yourself all that mama love. We need it. We all need love. Definitely drop comments below if it resonated. I love to hear, or if you just want a little love and support, I'm here for you. Thank you so much. Sending all the love and blessings your way.